Welcome back, everybody. Uh, we have another exciting episode for you today. Well, exciting, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on George. But I'm Christopher Brandon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. Um, I'm looking at your picture behind you. Where are you?
I'm in my office. But this is Round Rock, Texas.
Ah,
Why do you ask?
is there anything interesting happening in Round Rock this year?
Yes, actually, there is. We have a conference coming up in August for blazing new trails in Koha.
Yeehaw!
And you caught me off guard. I can't remember the dates right off the top of my head. It's
Uh,
mid-August. I think I want to say it's around August 15th, but
I think I've got it on my calendar, but I don't have my calendar up. Oh, I was going to say, I think there's a page on the website, but I don't see it here already. So
no,
look out for that.
it's not live at the moment
Not
of
live
this
yet.
recording, but yeah, we're getting close.
And there was a video, or there was an email that went out yesterday to everybody with a link in it to submit your
proposals.
presentation proposals. So
Yeah.
if you get a chance to do that, it'd be awesome to have another great conference this year. I'm looking forward to going to Texas.
Yes.
The last time this conference was in Texas, I
It's in
wasn't able to
McKinney.
go in person. It was in McKinney.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to go in person because we had some COVID fears at our house.
Yep. Yep.
And so there were some, but that's all behind us now, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, we hope to see a great turnout there this year, and um, hopefully more than last year. We had a great turnout last year in Portsmouth, and
Yeah.
yeah, let's do that again, if not bigger.
In other conference news, when this video premieres on Thursday, I will be at the Aspen Discovery Conference in Golden, Colorado. So I hope there's a lot of people there that use Koha. That's one of the things I'm interested in with Aspen Discovery is it's not just a Koha product. It works with other systems as well.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting to meet a lot of people outside of the Koha world at this conference next week. So or the day that this video appears. So
Awesome.
This video is sponsored by koha-US, your place to look for all things Koha. Whether you're just starting out with Koha or you've been with Koha for a while, koha-US is a great place to find resources, learn new tips and techniques, or connect with other users and libraries. Koha-US provides excellent information, both original and curated from around the internet, including the terrific every other day training videos. You will also find several special interest groups to connect with, as well as our general monthly meeting where we gather to talk about the latest Koha news. You should also check out the koha-US annual conference, held at various locations around the US. This is a great opportunity to meet with other users face to face, and build your Koha network, as well as new friendships. And of course, don't forget about the great presentations. Koha-US is also actively involved in the Koha community by contributing towards new developments. If you are interested in contributing towards Koha-US funded developments, join the Koha-US membership. Your annual membership builds the funds to sponsor new developments in the community, and as a member, you also help shape Koha-US with your membership votes, and receive a discount on the annual conference. You can also contribute towards developments through a direct donation, or by purchasing some great koha-US merchandise through our Threadless account. Visit us at koha-us.org to find out more.
All right. Well, George, you have something fun to share today, so why don't you go ahead and jump into that?
So yeah, I was at a Koha US meeting. I don't remember exactly which meeting it was. It might have been the consortia group, or it might have been the circulation group. But somebody said they had an issue at their library where people would come in and they want to use a computer, but they don't have their library card, but they need their library card number to access a computer in their library. And so they said, wouldn't it be great if there was a way that you could just print a barcode number when you look up a patron, then print their barcode number from the screen, and that way you wouldn't have to talk to them. You wouldn't have to say their card number out loud or write it on a post-it. Some easy way to get them that information without making it public information by saying it. And I said, oh, I've got a library that I set that up for. So I'm going to pull up a patron here, good old Bob Frosty. And so right along here is the toolbar for the patron information. I've got the patron over here. And what I wanted to do for this at our library, this was the Leavenworth Library wanted this feature. So I want to put a button right over here. So the way that I did that for Leavenworth is I go to the Internet User JS, and I've already got this code here. And so what the code does is this first part creates a button, and it's really simple. I mean, all it is saying on the circulation checkout page and on the patron details page at the end of the toolbar, I'm going to add this little code that creates a button. And so if I save that and reload the page, now I've got a print card number button here. And so that's what that first bit of this does is creates the button. And the second part says what that button's going to do. And so the button has an ID of NSC print card or card print. And when I click it, the first thing it's going to do is grab the card number from the page. So in this little info box over here, there is a hidden field called what's called hidden borrower card. And it's just, if we go to the console, if we go to the inspector and go on into this section, this little box is called patron info, and there's an ID called hidden borrower card, and the value of that item is just the card number. And so that's all this little piece does here is it takes the value of hidden borrower card number and stores it as a variable. And so then the next thing that we do here is we create a window, and this is a pop-up window. And so when we click this, it grabs that variable and it creates the window. And then inside the window, it sticks this piece of HTML, and then it adds the card number, and then it uses another piece of HTML at the end. And then when that window loads, it tells it to go to that window, print it, and close it. And so that's, when we click this, that's what happens, is this extra little window pops up and gives us the print dialog box, and that's all it's got in there is that card number. And when I click on print, over on my receipt printer, this little piece of paper pops out with the card number on it.
Very cool.
Now I could, if I wanted to, if I wanted to be more adventurous, I could, instead of just grabbing that card number, I could grab that card number and convert it into I could use Koha's built-in barcode generator to actually generate a scannable barcode there. Yeah. We don't do that because we didn't do that with this particular function. I think there was a reason we didn't do it. I think that they were afraid that people would print that off and then use it at the self-check machine. Somebody would print it off, take this over, use the computer, and instead of throwing it out or shredding it, they would leave it someplace where somebody could grab it and start using that at the self-check machines or something like that. So,
do you not have the ability to key in a card number on?
They didn't want a scannable barcode number, and I think that actually, I'm not. I don't remember why we made that decision, because I put this in a couple of years ago. So
yeah, I think at some point I had put in a suggestion somewhere on Bugzilla I said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could print a temporary access number, something that, you know, is associated with the account, but kind of timed out. So, you know, if somebody needed, you know,
Oh,
if they proved who they are, you could print it off, and it would only work for a limited amount of time with that account, so that if they misplaced it or, you know, it dropped it or whatever, it wouldn't continue to be a risk to that account.
right.
I mean, it would be awesome, but you know, getting new features like that is kind of
That sounds like an expensive new
challenging.
feature.
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, you know, we deal with enough patrons that, you know, come in uh just on a whim, you know, and they weren't planning to come in, they didn't bring their card, or they were jogging, or, you know, just out biking or whatever, and, you know, came by for something, didn't have uh their card on them, but they have their photo ID. And so, you know, you know, giving them their card number if they need it, especially if they're jumping on a computer or whatever. Um, you know, I don't like writing out people's card numbers, because yes, especially with our self checks, those are most vulnerable if you're not requiring a password. I think, you know, it'd be best to have a password protected account
Right.
at all points, but um, for the sake of uh, efficiency for the patron, we don't, uh, you know, and so that does pose as a risk, you know, to their account. You know, people can, you know, if they find a barcode, whether it's a keyed in number or an actual barcode itself, they could access or put stuff on that account. So,
We we do, I think almost all of our self checks we do require a password.
do you?
Um, but the issue I have with that is that we have a lot of people that one of our libraries uses the library card number, and the library card number is also the patron's username, and the password that they default to is the name of the city that
That's
the
not very useful.
no and then they tell patrons, when you get home, log in, change your password,
Yeah.
and they never do.
Which, you know, is
So that's actually the development I would like to see, is when you get that new library card number, you get a password that's good for one use, and then you've got to log in and redo your create a new one.
and I'll get
That's
that bug number up, but I do have something in requesting that, yeah, we have more options with the passwords, where because right now um we don't have, we do have some more ways to expire passwords, which is great. We're one step closer, but we need a way to be able to say when they log in the first time, we want to require them to change that password.
right.
That would be awesome. And then it would be nice if we could expire that password after um, they initially sign up. So again, it's like we can say, okay, this password's good for 30 days. You need to get in there and sign in and change the password. Um, we're not quite there yet, but we're steps closer, which is really nice.
Right.
We have that expiration. There are some pieces in place, but we do need to strengthen uh, that quite a bit, because I hate default passwords. It's one thing when the patron signs up online because they can put in their own password, great. And this bug asks that if a staff creates the account, so there's a way for the system to distinguish whether or not they did something on, if they registered online, or uh, the staff members entering it. And if the staff members enter it, then it should automatically be, requiring them to change their password after they logged in, and it should expire that password after 30 days if a staff member puts it in.
Right.
In all cases, if a staff member is putting in a password, whether it's creating the account or resetting the password for them, if they're not actually sending them a reset link and actually putting in a password for them, it should require that to expire after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, that'd be handy. It'd be a good feature. So
we'll have those links up. But wow, that's a nice feature. Usually, when we have patrons come in with a photo ID, we're writing down the number on physically writing it down on a post-it and putting it on their photo ID and handing it back. But that's makes it even easier.
now the reason that this, I'm thinking back on that meeting now, and the reason that this came up is that there will be in we're on Koha 2305. I don't remember if it's Koha 2311 or 2405. There will be a way to create a notice in the notice and slips templates, and then have just a random notice that you choose be available on, I don't remember if it's on the toolbar or on the print icon, on the print button. There will be a way to add notices and slips to that, whatever ones you feel like adding to that. I think it was to the print drop down. And so that's how this discussion got to that point. Now that I'm recollecting it, because that has been a couple of weeks ago that we had that meeting. So that'll be an interesting feature to see too. You can generate a full-blown notice just by clicking a button, instead of being tied to those. Right now on the print button, there's print slip, print quick slip, print check-in slip, and print summary. And that's how the discussion got started, is that there would be print summary is the only one of those that doesn't have a template you can modify. And so this would mean you could recreate the summary and have a way to generate that where it doesn't have to be a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper is what that's limited to now. So,
right.
So that'll be an interesting feature to see too soon.
Yeah. Speaking of slips, we were talking about this before recording, but we had talked about notices and slips, and we actually talked about that at last year's conference.
Yeah.
It generated some momentum from that discussion to where the community is actually working on adding or migrating from their hungry alligator elements to the template toolkit, which I'm really excited about. I'm really happy to see movement on that because we've needed that for a while. They've been encouraging us to use template toolkit, but we've had scraps of putting these pieces together in order to implement it on a consistent basis. So I am excited to see the documentation coming out and the incorporation of the template toolkit elements into building notices and slips. So that's going to be fun.
You suggesting that maybe we had something to do that scares the hell out of me, because that means people listen to things that I say, and that just, nobody should be listening to me. I'm not a trustworthy person. Don't listen to me. Just stop it.
And I'm just saying that you were one of probably many people that have talked about it, but if you don't talk about it, nothing happens. And that's why it's important to be involved in the bugs. It's why it's important to be involved in the conversations.
Yep. I always say the best thing about Koha is the community, and the idea that people actually listen to each other is a great thing. The idea that people listen to me, though, that scares the hell out of me.
Why are you part of this video? All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Short video today, but really helpful. And we've provided the links to the code, and we hope that you enjoy it. And if you have any requests in the future, feel free to comment on videos or reach out to us in Slack or some other way through the community. But let us know what you would like to see. Maybe it'll show up in one of our videos.
And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks.